morning Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Antigua and Barbuda prepare to buy out Barbados's Liat shares. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, May 3rd. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Antigua and Barbuda has signaled its intention to purchase the shares of regional airline Liat from Barbados, days after the shareholders met in the Twin Island nation to discuss the future of the airline. Attorney General Ted Roy Benjamin told CMC News there was a possibility of Barbados offloading its interest in Liat.
My understanding is that the Barbados government may be thinking of ridding themselves of the shares of Liat. If that is in fact so, then we will take them up. I'm sure of that.
Following their meeting on Tuesday, Liat shareholder governments agreed in principle to a proposal from Antigua and Barbuda on how to finance the cash-strapped airline to keep it in the air. Benjamin says he's seen a change from the partners in the region towards Liat.
They'll understand the situation that Liat must remain flying. Indeed, I believe that the country has come on board and has made a donation as well, a contribution as well. And I am satisfied to the extent that I feel sure that they will all come on board at the material point in time.
Well, CARICOM leaders have ended their one-day special summit on security in Trinidad and Tobago. They reviewed what they called the management of the security operations, and they issued a statement on the unfolding situation in Venezuela. Joining us live on the phone is Peter Richards to tell us about the outcome of that meeting. Good evening, Peter.
Dawn, and good evening to viewers. As you rightly said, the CARICOM summit has just ended. On security has just ended, and the CARICOM leaders have issued two statements. The first one on the situation unfolding in Venezuela. Basically what they are saying, that they continue to note with concern the turn of events in Venezuela and the potential they hold for the escalation of the political crisis there. CARICOM says it remains firmly wedded to the view that the solution to the crisis in Venezuela should be a peaceful internal process that avoids the threat of use of force. It says that the CARICOM leaders will continue to monitor the situation and remain convinced that the principles of non-interference and non-intervention in the affairs of states, respect for sovereignty, the constitutional framework, adherence to the rule of law, and respect for human rights and democracy must be upheld. And they said they will continue to support the diplomatic efforts to get a solution in Venezuela.
Thank you, Peter. One of the two opposition legislators in Trinidad and Tobago being questioned by police about corruption allegations has been admitted to hospital. United National Congress UNC Senator Gerald Ramdeen was admitted to the Port of Spain General Hospital on Friday afternoon after complaining of not feeling well. According to the Newsday newspaper, hospital sources said Ramdeen arrived at the hospital around 1 p.m. with 2 police officers in plain clothes and was taken to the Accident and Emergency Department to be assessed. He complained of feeling weak and was also vomiting. Hospital staff said he was being kept apart from other patients. Former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan also complained of feeling unwell, causing his interview with police to be cut short. The 2 have been in police custody since Wednesday morning. The Anti-Corruption Investigations Bureau is probing a series of financial transactions involving legal fees during the 2010-2015 period that Ramlogan served as Attorney General under the previous UNC administration. Early Friday, Ramdeen's attorneys issued a pre-action protocol letter to the police questioning their client's detention beyond 48 hours. Over in the Cayman Islands, Ezard Miller has announced his decision to step down as opposition leader. In a statement on Thursday, he said his resignation will take effect on May 31st. He cited a lack of commitment and cohesion as the reason for his decision. There's no word on when a new leader will be chosen. Support for Miller among the collection of independent backbench legislators had crumbled in recent months. First, his deputy leader, Alva Suku, resigned, citing concerns over his leadership. Then the rest of the opposition group wrote to Miller requesting that he not speak on their behalf unless explicitly authorized to do so. That letter stopped short of asking him to resign, and Miller had previously indicated he intended to continue in the role. We get more in this Cayman 27 news report.
His announcement comes after Newlands MLA Alva Suku tendered his resignation as deputy leader and part of the opposition team. That team, Bordentown West MLA Chris Saunders, East End MLA Arden McLean, Savannah MLA Anthony Eden, were all part of that team. Mr. Saunders says a statement will be issued from the group. As for Mr. Miller, he says it has become increasingly clear that the level of cohesion, industry and commitment necessary for any opposition to serve in the best interests of all the people of these islands is not possible given the current slate of independent members who made up the group.
A new Foreign Affairs Minister has been appointed in Guyana a week after Carl Greenidge's resignation over his dual citizenship took effect without a replacement being named. Dr. Karen Cummings took the oath of office before President David Granger on Thursday morning. She'd been serving as minister within the Ministry of Public Health since the Partnership for National Unity Coalition government came to power in 2015. President Granger said the country could not be without a foreign minister, and he believes Cummings is the right person for the job at this time. And Cummings said she is prepared to take up the challenge.
It's a lot of hard work, but I'm prepared for the task, and I hope to serve in this new office with distinction.
Did it come as a surprise to you?
I should say to some extent, yes. Because I know there's a vacancy, so I was wondering who is going to fill that post, but I didn't know it would have been me.
Well, her predecessor was among members of the coalition government who were forced to resign as MPs and, by extension, ministers to honor a court ruling that persons with dual citizenship cannot sit in the National Assembly. The other 3 were Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin, Minister of the Public Service in the Ministry of the Presidency Dr. Rupert Roopnarine, and Minister of State in the Ministry of the Presidency Joseph Harmon. Well, Harmon may not be in the cabinet, but he has been attending cabinet meetings. As Director General in the Ministry of the Presidency, a position created for him to assist President Granger. Part of his job involves sitting in the meetings and reporting on cabinet's decisions, and on Thursday he hosted a post-cabinet briefing just as he did when he was Minister of State. However, his other duties are unclear, as we hear from him in this Newsroom Guyana report.
The other duties have been made clear and certain. I will give that information out.
The cabinet has a secretary in the person of Mr. Edward Persico. Prior to the start of the post-cabinet news briefing, President David Granger was questioned about Harmon's new post. The president, in response, said he needs assistance to run the ministry, which is made up of 3 major departments: energy, culture, youth and sport, and public service, while he also holds responsibility for defense.
All ministers are my assistants, but Mr. Harmon in particular will have a non-ministerial role in helping me to manage the Ministry of the Presidency. These are all very large very huge administrative responsibilities, and I need his assistance in helping me to manage the ministry.
The Ministry of the Presidency also has Don Hastings Williams as Minister of State. There is also Tabitha Sarabo Halley as Public Service Minister and Simona Brooms as Minister responsible for Youth Development.
Meantime, President Granger has confirmed that Housing Minister Valerie Patterson-Yearwood has been reassigned over conflict of interest allegations. It was disclosed a month ago that the minister's husband, Godfrey Yearwood, was awarded a contract by the Central Housing and Planning Authority to build houses for the ministry under a special housing program. President Granger says he's satisfied Patterson-Yearwood has not committed any crime, but he thought it best that she be moved to the Ministry of Agriculture.
There were certain allegations, and I felt that it would be in the public interest for her to go to another ministry. She had not been convicted of any crime, and I feel that her services could be used in supporting the Minister of Agriculture with responsibility for rural affairs.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, a measles scare causes a cruise ship to cancel its call to Antigua. The details after the break.
King Ferdinand and Chief in Columbus have a golden plan. Them make a start recruit soldiers for Selassie army. Here comes trouble, here comes the danger. How can a man you are power with from your bond turn round be your enemy? I mean no know, but me know and a friend flying down the stomach and I buck up in a old blue sea and
Welcome back. A cruise ship that was scheduled to stop in Antigua and Barbuda has cancelled the planned visit after a case of measles was reported on board. Free Winds, a United States-based vessel owned by and operated by the Church of Scientology, was earlier this week quarantined in St. Lucia when it was discovered that a passenger had contracted the illness. According to the Antigua Observer newspaper, Free Winds informed its local agent, Bryson's Shipping, that it decided to cancel its May 7th and 9th visit to the island. It's not known if calls scheduled for later in the month would also be cancelled. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Rhonda Seeley Thomas sought to assure the public that the government is committed to doing whatever was possible to ensure that there was no reintroduction of measles in Antigua and Barbuda. The Association of Caribbean Media Workers has called on journalists across the region to embrace the tenets of good journalism by giving verified facts without the taint of bias. In a message to mark World Press Freedom Day, observed on Friday under the theme Media for Democracy, Journalism and Elections in Times of Disinformation, ACM President Anika Kentish noted that media remains the cornerstone of any democratic society, bringing governance issues to the forefront, exposing flaws in the justice system, and being the whistleblowers when corruption looms. And the Media Institute of the Caribbean has lauded journalists in the region, saying that with some exceptions, the Caribbean remains a region that scores high on press freedom indexes. Meanwhile, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley highlighted the need for a free, impartial press in the Caribbean in order to preserve the region's democracy.
We live in a world today where it is so easy for you to be exposed only to the views which you believe and which you want to hear. And that is the danger of narrowcasting as opposed to broadcasting. But our small states cannot withstand that kind of intolerance or that kind of concentration or bias. And it is therefore to the credit of these two gentlemen that the hallmark characteristic which they imbued in this institution was one that required non-intervention in the editorial policy of this newspaper.
Well, it's time for Newsline Entertainment, and we look back at the just-ended Barbados Reggae Festival, and one artist tells gang members that violence doesn't pay. Here are the details.
Reggae fans in Barbados packed the Kensington Oval last weekend for the long-awaited performance of Buju Banton on the latest leg of his Long Walk to Freedom tour. It was his first performance in Barbados for over a decade. And from all accounts, he did not disappoint, rocking the crowd with a mix of conscious reggae and dancehall hits. His longtime friend and collaborator, Wayne Wonder, also performed at the Reggae Festival.
Me and Buju have been on the road for years, and it's like a 10-year hiatus, so, teaming up back and rocking the crowd is always a pleasure,
Spraga Benz was another performer on the opening night of the Reggae Festival. He says he always enjoys performing in Barbados.
Like over 20 years, so if they never like it, I wouldn't be coming back, and to be coming back and I show the magnitude that this one, this is a great show, so that shows that the people still, appreciate the music that I put out over the years, and judging from the response of Differ and a couple more of the new songs, it's going to continue.
And amid growing concerns over crime in the Caribbean, Spraga had this message for the gangs.
Yeah, and that's why I tried to cut a lot of the more gangster songs from the set, if you notice tonight, and even songs that I started, I'll make sure I introduce them in a way to let the youth know that, this is not the way to go, share and care, love, that's what I deal with right now, badness out of fashion.
The Tobago Jazz Festival was also on this week. Regional and international artists, including Tony Braxton and Michael Bolton, were among the performers. And the chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission, George Leacock, says it was a success.
Key to successfully running any kind of entertainment is the entertainers. And then, of course, you didn't just want anybody, but you wanted people to fit the demographic that you thought would travel and participate in the festival.
Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Entertainment.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies slipped to 9th spot in the new expanded ICC T20 team rankings. Stay with us.
About being a vegan because okay, so myself, I'm a foodie, but in a sense where I love to try new things, not in a sense where I just have no I guess, no control and eat any and everything. So I do know a little bit about, you know, the vegan takeover, but not so much to be well equipped. So I'm hoping that with today's show, not only I get valuable information, but that our community can get valuable information as well and be educated in that subject area.
This may be a spot down here. Let me just look to see what it's down here. Let me just see. Oh, they're swimming down there. That's no good. My first critique is there's no place to fish. You gotta fish for a fishing spot. My second critique is there's a lot of canoes, kayakers, snorkelers.
This location is really cool. Don't get me wrong. Girls in bikinis and canoes and boards, that's summer to me, baby. But as for fishing, yeah, that's not gonna happen here.
Can't get over how clear it is, man.
Reigning World T20 champions West Indies have slipped to 9th in the new expanded ICC team rankings in the latest released on Friday, which reflects changes following the annual update. The Caribbean side found themselves only above Bangladesh on the long-standing test-playing nations. After results from 2015-2016 were removed and those between 2016 and 2018 weighed at 50%, West Indies were overtaken by Afghanistan, who moved up 1 place to 7th, and Sri Lanka, who also climbed 1 spot to 8th. The ranking represents the lowest for the West Indies since they won their second T20 World Cup title in 2016, beating England in a dramatic final in Kolkata. Since that conquest, the Windies' form has fallen off considerably, with the side losing 13 of 17 T20 internationals over the last 17 months. Meanwhile, Pakistan have strengthened their position at the top of the rankings on 286 points, but only 4 points separate the next 4 teams in the table. South Africa lies second on 262, England are third on 261, while Australia sits in 4th spot, also on 261 points. In 5th is India, 6 clear of New Zealand, which boasts a considerable 13-point gap on Afghanistan. Still in cricket, West Indies women's captain Stephanie Taylor, along with Hayley Matthews and Shakira Salmon, will suit up with their international counterparts to participate in the 4-match tri-series being hosted by the Board of Control for Cricket in India. The tournament, which starts on Saturday and runs till May 11th, will see Taylor and Salmon playing for the Trail Blazers, while Matthews will be part of the Velocity team. The three expressed gratitude at being able to represent the best of the Caribbean in the T20 Challenge. Cricket West Indies director Jimmy Adams expressed his delight that the trio will have the chance to experience the tournament and at the same time showcase the region's talent. West Indies cricket legend Brian Charles Lara was honoured in Trinidad yet again for his contribution to regional cricket as he celebrated his 50th birthday on Thursday. This time, a street leading to his Lady Chancellor Hill mansion in Port of Spain has been named after him. The honour is the latest among the number of accolades the cricket great received by the TNT government. The street is near the former site of an agricultural station at which Lara's now deceased father, Bunty, was an employee. In this report from TV6's Vinod Narwani, Lara says of all the honours he has received, this one is particularly special.
It was a special day for West Indies legend Brian Charles Lara, who completed 50 years on this planet on May 2nd, 2019. Leading up to his birthday, Lara was involved in various events to celebrate the occasion, which included playing sports. But on Thursday, the former West Indies captain, who resides on Chancellor Hill, Port of Spain, was at a ceremony where the unveiling of the renaming of a street took place. What was previously Nags Hill is now known as the Brian Lara Drive, named after the icon who has the highest test score of 400 not out. Speaking at the event, Chairman of the San Juan Laventille Regional Corporation, Anthony Roberts, and Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Kazim Hussain, both paid tribute to Lara.
Brian made one of his cheeky singles to make up 50. 50, a figure that Brian is pretty familiar with and accustomed to. But this one is particularly, personal to him. And I want to congratulate you, Brian, on your 50th birthday party.
And then the man himself spoke, saying it was a touching moment to have the street renamed after him.
Welcome to my street. But this is a great, great honor. And this being bestowed upon me, I know many things have been over the years, but this is truly something that's very touching.
Lara hopes youngsters who see his name on the street when exercising use that as an inspiration to achieve their goals in life.
All Guyana Football Federation President Wayne Ford is confident that the Golden Jaguars have what it takes to beat top teams in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And he says Ghana will be sending its strongest ever squad to face 3 teams that have already made appearances at a FIFA World Cup. Newsroom's Akeem Green reports.
I'm always positive, Raul. Thank you again for the question. And I think that and that's the energy that we need to send out to the players and to the nation. We have to always manage our expectations. We will not be naive and refuse to recognize the caliber of the nations that we're coming against. But I have faith in the work of Coach Johnson. I have faith in the players. I think they understand and appreciate the moment. And the most that we can expect from them as a federation and as a country is that they go out there and give 100% and leave everything on the field on the day in question. I will say this, we have the quality to surprise any team within this federation on the given day.
Ford was speaking Thursday when the JFF unveiled a partnership with the Guyana Tourism Authority to host the FIFA Conference of Development later this month. With a maiden berth at the Gold Cup, Guyana will join with defending champions United States, Panama, and Trinidad and Tobago, 3 teams who have already played at FIFA World Cups. The Michael Johnson coach unit qualified via a thrilling 2-1 win over Belize. While the impact of the win means more players in the diaspora will want to don the Golden Jaguars colours, Ford indicated the core of the squad will remain with some additions. Furthermore, the Federation hopes to have the majority of the players in camp soonest and should have at least 1 international warm-up match.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Bill Walton is a little bit involved, I think. What's his role there at the company?
So Bill Walton is a major contributor to our community. He's our executive chairman at San Diego Sport Innovators. He comes to our leadership dinners. He comes to our board meetings. He makes introductions. Having Bill Walton as part of this organization has given us tremendous credibility to attract other people into the organization.
Again, the major developments of this day: Antigua and Barbuda expresses interest in buying Barbados' shares in Liat. And in sport, West Indies slipped to 9th in the new expanded ICC T20 team rankings. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport round the clock, subscribe to CanonNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here on a Monday. But from all of us at CNC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night and safe weekend.